Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online regulation C VGC ladder in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and provide live commentary as I go. In this video, I'm going to be featuring one of the best Screamtail teams that I've seen in this format. This team finished at the top 8 at the Portland Regional Championships, which took place in the beginning of May, and Screamtail is just not very common in competitive VGC, but it can be amazing on the right team. Screamtail doesn't do very much damage, but it's really good for support. This set in particular has booster energy as well as Encore and Disable to really disrupt your opponents, and it is particularly strong next to setup-oriented Pokemon like Bulk Up Annihilape. And so, as always, I'll do a quick breakdown of the team, but if you want to just skip to the battles, check out the timestamps down below. And thank you so much, as always, for joining me. If you enjoy, I'd really appreciate it if you consider leaving a like on the video or subscribing to the channel. We are so close to 200k subs, and so, yeah, thanks so much, as always, for joining me, and I always appreciate your support. First of all, a huge thank you to Navjeet for building and sharing this team. I've linked his Twitter down in the description below, as well as a rental, paste, and team report. The team report is so in-depth. I highly recommend you watch it if you're trying to learn how to utilize this team, and it covers a lot of different things from the EV splits to the game plans behind it. And of course, a huge congrats to Navjeet for finishing top 8 at Portland Regionals as well. I thought this was easily one of the most interesting teams to come out from that event, and I think that Screamtail is going to be a little bit more meta in the upcoming weeks, so you'll want to pay attention to how to use it and how to beat it. And question of the day before we dive into things, I just want to know what your favorite song at the moment is. Mine is currently a Daft Punk song called Prime that just came out. So yeah, let's break down these Pokemon. Now the first Pokemon to talk about, of course, is Screamtail. Screamtail does not do very much damage, but it provides a ton of utility. The idea is that booster energy just allows it to outspeed so many Pokemon in the format, practically everything other than opposing booster Flutter Mains and opposing booster bundles, for example. With the speed investment, you're also outspeeding base 100s basically and anything lower, and Disable plus Encore is just a really nasty combination. I think one thing that is really important is that right now there are a lot of choice users in the format, right? Whether it be Choice Scarf Great Tusk, Choice Specs Flutter Mane, Choice Band Dragonite's still a thing as well. Screamtail does a great job of really taking advantage of that because against those choice Pokemon, well, you can just protect and then you can disable them immediately afterwards. So that's one thing that makes it Screamtail really fun. In addition, I think Screamtail has a really nice matchup into Dondozo, which has still been really good in this format, especially with Grass Terra. Because with Grass Terra, you're resisting all of the common Dondozo attacks in Wave Crash, Earthquake, right? Right now, Grass Terra, Dondozo with Terra Blast is fairly common, and so that can't hit you for much either. And with Screamtail, you can just Encore them into attack and then disable them, and then the Dondozo just struggles away. And so Screamtail is really nice into a lot of things that are meta right now, and it's just good utility. At the end of the day, you're using this to support the Annihilape, you're using it to support the Chi-Yu, and allow it to get these, setup moves, whether it be the Nasty Plot or the Bulk Up off, for example. So yeah, that's one thing that I really love about the Screamtail. Now, the main thing to note is you're not going to do much damage with this Pokemon. Dazzling Gleam is mainly used to chip away at things, maybe break Focus Ashes, and break Multi-Skill on Dragonite, for example, but you are not going to get knockouts with this thing, so you have to be really careful in how you utilize it, because if you're not using it properly or your opponents play really well against it, Screamtail can actually often feel like a dead slot, so that's something to keep in mind. But the idea is that the Screamtail here really enables setup, and you've got Annihilape with Bulk Up, Citrus Berry, Fire Terra, as well as Chi-Yu, Safety Goggles, Ghost Terra. Now, I think Safety Goggles Chi-Yu is just one of the best Pokemon into a lot of the common Palafin balance teams, which typically consist of Palafin, Amoonguss, Arcanine, Flutter Mane, plus 2 more, for example. And one of the combos you can go with against those teams is actually just Screamtail plus Chi-Yu. If they lead Amoonguss, for example, you can just immediately set up with Nasty Plot. This can punish Arcanine as well, especially because you can disable a potential Flare Blitz, for example. And so Screamtail plus Chi-Yu, Screamtail plus Annihilape, both are really viable leads with this team. And the idea, of course, is just to get some setup and then start dishing out huge amounts of damage, right? Safety Goggles Chi-Yu in particular, I think is just really nice. Otherwise, Amoonguss can actually be pretty annoying if they Terra in front of you, but with Goggles, you're looking a lot better. So that's it with Chi-Yu. Annihilape here, pretty straightforward. You've got Citrus Berry rather than Leftovers, just for a bigger amount of burst recover immediately. And just like Annihilape throughout Scarlet and Violet, the idea is to stay on the field for a long time and get these bulk ups off. What's interesting about this team is there's no mouse hole, there's no way to actually boost your own Rage Fist stacks unless you're self-hitting with some of your attacks, but that's pretty rare with this team, honestly. But the main point is that Annihilape just stays on the field for so long, especially when you have Screamtail support as well. It's actually fairly common in my experience to get multiple bulk ups off with this Annihilape, and maybe you spend a couple turns not getting any knockouts, but then you get to an end game where Annihilape just starts picking up knockout after knockout. So bulk up plus recovery from Citrus plus recovery from Drain Punch really adds up and makes this a difficult Pokemon to deal with. One of the other valuable things is there's so much Intimidate in the format right now. Arcanine's everywhere. Gyarados has become meta to deal with a lot of the, Palafin teams recently, and Annihilape obviously loves eating up those Defiant boosts and then getting attack boosts. So, yeah. To round out the team, you've got Iron Bundle. This is very standard. It is just a Focus Sash Ghost Terra variant. Not much to say about it. It's as standard as Iron Bundle gets. Ghost Terra is just mainly valuable against like Chien-Pao Dragonite, so you could go with like Bundle Flutter Mane, for example, and then just Ghost Terra, and then suddenly both Pokemon are immune to Extreme Speed. Flutter Mane here is a Choice Specs variant. Now, one thing that I want to call it is, yes, Specs Flutter is everywhere right now, but I really like the team building here because this Specs Flutter is max speed modest, right? And so right now, there are very few people that are running max speed Flutter Mane. A lot of people have opted for really bulky Flutter Manes, and as a result, they get rid of a lot of speed investment. And so in the team building process, I think Navjeet was like, I just want to have a more favorable matchup into opposing Flutters, and having a fast Choice Specs Flutter is basically perfect for that. And so there are some people that are running like timid max speed or opposing modest max as well, but for the most part, the majority of Flutter Manes that you're going to run into are generally not max speed. And so it's really nice to just be able to pressure opposing Specs Flutters and pressure them with a one-hit knockout with Shadow Ball and, KO them before they even get the chance to move. One thing to call out here is also Power Gem, which allows you to hit fire types in particular for super effective, which is really nice. Finally, you've got Rocky Helmet Amoonguss, pretty standard Amoonguss set here with Spore, Pollen Puff, Rage Powder, Protect, Water Terra, and the Rocky Helmet is just nice for chipping away at things as well. So yeah, I would recommend watching the video to kind of learn about how Navjeet plays with this team. I think in my experience, I really like leading like Screamtail Annihilape, Screamtail Chi-Yu, Amoonguss Annihilape, Amoonguss Chi-Yu against teams that don't have great Amoonguss answers. And then obviously Bundle Flutter Chi-Yu is a really offensive trio. So like Bundle Flutter, Bundle Chi-Yu, Chi-Yu Flutter, all of those are viable leads as well. But I generally ask myself, okay, how much value does Screamtail offer in the game, and how do I, is there potential for me to just like shut down my opponent completely, get one or two setup moves, and then sweep from there? That's kind of my first thought when I approach using this team. So yeah, let's quickly highlight some weaknesses. One of the first things that I'll call out is that Screamtail, in my opinion, is not a easy Pokemon to use. In fact, when I was practicing with this team, I probably played 10 or 15 games before recording for this episode because I felt like it just wasn't clicking for me as quickly as some other teams do. And that's just because Screamtail operates in a fairly unique manner relative to a lot of the other Pokemon in this format, right? This is a very supportive Pokemon. It doesn't do very much damage at all, and you have to be very intentional about when you bring it out because the booster energy speed boost for it is very important, and if you switch it out and bring it back out, a lot of the times it loses a lot of the value that it can bring into the battle. So keep that in mind, and if you're struggling with it at first, like, trust me, I've been in your shoes as well, and it's still something that I feel like I'm taking a lot of time to get acclimated with. That being said, Screamtail obviously can be incredible when enabled properly. So how do you actually play against this Screamtail? I think the first is just having some sense of what it does, right? Knowing that it can disable a move is really, really pivotal. And I think in a lot of the losses that I had, my opponents were really smart, and they would essentially just immediately click another move after turn one that wasn't the first move that they clicked, so that I can't just disable them immediately. And so that often would just give them a big amount of burst damage and would put me into a trickier position. One of the other things you can do against this Screamtail is say, okay, you know what, Screamtail, yeah, you can be a nuisance, but is your partner able to actually pick up knockouts? I've had a lot of games where, I'm like, okay, Screamtail, it's maybe Encore something, but that's basically it. And then my partner Pokemon doesn't actually get these big knockouts, whereas my opponent can like double up onto my partner slot to get a knockout. And so, yeah, that's something that's also giving me some trouble. And I think in general, I've struggled a little bit against like faster paced teams, especially those with like Tailwind, for example. But I think a part of that is because I'm often bringing Screamtail into the wrong scenarios. There's one game I think of in particular where my opponent led like Murkrow plus Golden Go, and I led Screamtail with Chi-Yu, and then I think like they just clicked Make It Rain. Screamtail just fainted immediately, and I was like, well, okay, why did I even bring Screamtail into this scenario, right? So Screamtail in itself can be a huge strength, but it can be a weakness if you bring it into the wrong matchup. You're not utilizing it properly. So really, really keep that in mind. And I think another thing to call out is like with Annihilape and Chi-Yu, they're a little bit more setup oriented. And a fair amount of the games that I lost, I think my opponents did a really good job of not targeting Annihilape specifically and basically saying, okay, you know what? You can bulk up a bunch. I'm going to knock out everything around you. Your Rage Fist is just not doing that much damage until you've actually taken a couple hits. So you obviously have to time that really properly, but if you're able to do that, it can really, really pay off. Chi-Yu in particular here, obviously is a nasty plot set, so it takes a little bit of time to get going. It's not just going to get big one-hit knockouts immediately. You could potentially leverage that to your advantage. And then, yeah, I think I had one game where I went up against like Tyranitar Lycanroc. Lycanroc kind of just flinched everything, and that was really bad for me. And so I think like sometimes the games I've lost is my opponent's just naturally moving before me and then just getting big attacks off before I really get a chance to move. But Screamtail is a Pokemon that I think is pretty difficult to play around, but if you can even just like anticipate the Encore Disable combo or even just disable, one extra turn from your end can give you a huge advantage, so keep that in mind. Okay, we've got Snow here with Shampoo, Abomasnow, and the bundle with Murkrow, Palafin, and Cerulege. I really don't like going up against Tailwind just because, I don't know, a lot of the times I've had Tailwind and then like I just get swept too quickly. I think the main thing to watch out for is like potential Specs bundle. To which Annihilape Katera to fire. I don't hate a Screamtail Annihilape lead here. Chi-Yu feels good into all the fire types, obviously. And then probably Flutter as the last one, although you could actually make an argument for bundle as well. Flutter just like can one-shot so many things if positioned correctly. So I'm going to go with that. Pretty cool team from my opponent's end. Abomasnow bundle has definitely been trending in usage, but the rest is really interesting. Mainly Cerulege and Murkrow, I'd say. Palafin usage has actually been decreasing in like North American in-person tournaments, but it's obviously still a really good mon. My general goal here, though, ideally is to just bulk up a bunch with the Annihilape. One thing I have to be careful about, though, is Haze from Palafin. Also, if I Fire Terra to get around the super effective hits from Bundle, then obviously I now am weak to Water, and so Bundle can Hydro Pump me, Palafin can Wave Crash me. It's going to be Abomasnow Cerulege. Okay. Honestly, here, I think turn 1, especially with the lack of... What do I want to say? The lack of either Palafin or Bundle, I don't mind going for a Protect. And then a Bulk Up. I'm even considering Fire Terra immediately just to take less damage from Blizzard from Abomasnow, but I'm not sure they're going to click Blizzard immediately. I can heal back up. I ended up clicking Protect on Annihilape. That was supposed to be a Bulk Up, but that's fine. They bring out Chien-Pao. Okay. Terra committed immediately. So if they end up clicking Bulk Up with their Cerulege, I can just Encore that. It's going to be Fire Terra, sure. Fire Terra is pretty interesting. Okay. Go for double Protect. Shadow Claw. Okay. That's fine. With that, I can go for a Disable. Make sure you can't go for that anymore. And then Bulk Up. I don't think Chien-Pao's that scary. Could Ice Spinner? If it has Haze, I think it gets a little bit more annoying. But obviously a single Drain Punch can take care of it. They actually try to Sucker Punch into Screamtail. Okay. So they're really trying to just KO it here. But yeah, Screamtail's so supportive. It's not really going to do any offense. I get what they're going for, though, if you're worried about like a Dazzling Gleam or a Play Rough onto the Chien-Pao slot, right? But Annihilape even getting a single Bulk Up is honestly such a big deal. And now Shadow Claw's disabled. I'm willing to just start attacking, honestly. Dazzling Gleam and just Drain Punch now onto Chien-Pao. I don't think they have too many Annihilape answers, and there's nothing that really switches into a Drain Punch at this point, right? Abomasnow, Chien-Pao, Murkrow, Bundle. Bundle switches in. Cool. It's going to take a decent amount from Gleam, honestly. Chien-Pao protects. Okay, good Protect. The thing is, I can Encore you into that Protect now. And because you committed your Terra to Cerulege, yeah, I think I am happy to just Encore Chien-Pao. Make sure you can't do anything with that slot. And then Drain Punch into Iron Bundle. That's the thing that I think Screamtail really enables, right? You play passively with one slot and then switch out the other, and suddenly I can just like really make both slots, or that one slot that just played passively, completely useless, basically. So they could click Sucker Punch here, I suppose, but if you Sucker Punch the Annihilape, great, you just give me more Rage Fist stacks. If you Sucker Punch Screamtail, great, you're just locked into it. So, yeah. I don't see a clear answer for them in beating this Annihilape right now, especially with them having committed Protect last turn. So, good switch from Chien-Pao. They're not going to get trapped by the potential Encore, but it's still fine, right? I essentially, like, forced the switch out from their end. Almost No comes out. See if they just go for a Blizzard. Yep, that's fine. Goes less than half. We get Drain Punch off. Nice. Cool. So far, it's like we haven't really spent too many resources at all. Right, I've burnt my booster energy, but I've gotten this bulk up off with Annihilape. They're wasting their own turns of snow right now, and they committed to Terra to Cerulege. So, yeah, they try to go all in on knocking out the Screamtail immediately, but protecting turn 1 with Screamtail is always just safe, honestly. So, now they bring Cerulege back out. I'm happy to just protect again. I think I am actually down to commit my Terra here and then bulk up, because with my Terra, they really shouldn't have too much offense since I knocked out the bundle already. So, Abomasnow switches added in Chien-Pao. Sure, that makes sense. But the question still lies, how do you actually knock out Annihilape from this point, right? And what's really nice is, like, if you end up, like, protecting to try to avoid my Drain Punch, I just Encore you next turn. So this duo in particular can really cause some problems. Screamtail protects. Get another bulk up off. Okay, they Bitter Blade, but yeah, the Terra covers for this masterfully. Perfect. Snow stops. What do I want to do here? I guess, like, theoretically, they could Sacred Sword Annihilape. I actually wonder if that's enough for a KO. I'm not sure. I'm down to go for a Dazzling Gleam here and just to protect. If they end up hazing me, it's a little sad, but so be it. Like, you know, I can just Encore you into haze the next turn. Cerulege switches, sure. And if they click Sacred Sword here, then I just click Disable onto your Sacred Sword next turn, right? You take super effective damage from Dazzling Gleam. Or they could protect. I mean, now I just Encore you. Dazzle breaks a potential Sash here as well. So, yeah, you can see how nasty Encore is, right? Because it's like, you have to essentially make the right play in front of Screamtail. If not, I get to punish you super heavily. Now, it's very likely they are just going to predict my Encore and then switch Chien-Pao out, but who cares, right? I'll just Drain Punch into Abomasnow. Like, sure, you can switch, but you're not getting any damage off anytime soon. So, basically, the trick in playing around Screamtail is to anticipate, like, you know, the Encore and Disable, and also to, like, make sure that you don't give your opponent the chance to just auto-Encore you, right? Because basically at this point, if my opponent doesn't make the switch, well, they just get Encore trapped. And if they make the switch, well, they're not doing any damage with Chien-Pao. So you have to be really careful about clicking Protect or Setup moves in front of Screamtail, because it'll just punish you super heavily. And yeah, they end up just staying in here. But I'm always going to click Encore onto that slot, right? Because it's like, even if you make the obvious switch out, I don't mind, because you're not really applying much pressure otherwise. They've got Drain Punch, and that's just a KO. Yeah, this duo can just stay on the field for forever, honestly. And this is why, part of the reason why Screamtail is such a nice partner for Annihilape in particular. So, Abomasnow faints. Cerulege comes out. We know Chien-Pao has to protect this turn. It's guaranteed to get it off. I am down to just go for Protect here with Screamtail. Rage Fist onto Terror Ledge. I mean, Drain Punch is fine. Have we taken any hits with this yet, actually? We ate that Blizzard, right? Yeah. Plus, I'm faster, so I won't be healing first anyway. Don't really think it makes much of a difference. Like, my opponent brought... their final 2 Pokemon are physical attackers, right? Their only special attackers were Bundle plus Abomasnow, but we were able to take care of Bundle relatively quickly. So, Chien-Pao takes its Guaranteed Protect here. Alright, Rage Fist. That's just a one-hit knockout. Nice. Yeah, this is exactly what this duel can do. I think it was a very favorable Annihilate matchup, all things considered as well, so that made things easier for me. But boy, did we apply a lot of pressure with Screamtail Annihilate. Like, we did not even need to bring the back 2 Pokemon at all. I think what basically made things more challenging for my opponent was, like, they kind of kept, like, switching one Pokemon out and staying in with the other, so then I essentially could just, like, make whatever stayed in lock into whatever attack it was using, and there was never too much pressure onto Annihilate, right? They didn't really have too many Pokemon like even hit us were super effective, and Drain Punch being super effective into all the ice types made things really valuable as well. So it felt like a really like skewed matchup in my favor, and then we were able to execute it well as well. Okay, we've got Flutter, Chi-Yu, Bundle, Indeedee, Dragonite, and Arcanine here. So a lot of fast-paced offense from their end. Indeedee is pretty interesting to see there. It's not normally a common partner. Like, I'd expect Chien-Pao over that slot. But it's kind of a nuisance for my Flutter, right? Because I can't just spec Shadow Ball, like if they lead Indeedee plus Flutter, for example. Fire Terra Annihilate feels really good here. So I don't mind leading that. Could be Goggles Indeedee, which would be annoying. I think the hardest thing about bringing a Moongus in best of 1 is like a single Goggles completely invalidates it. So I'm a little bit wary of bringing it because like Indeedee and Chi-Yu are both common Goggles users. Lum is common on Dragonite. Arcanine could have Goggles as well. They don't have enough physical attackers for us to get like that much value out of Rocky Helmet either. So I think I'm down for a Screamtail Annihilate lead with Flutter in the back and then Bundle. Bundle's actually really good offensively in this matchup. Indeedee is what scares me the most, honestly. Yeah, the presence of it means I think I'd feel less confident leading Flutter. If they didn't have Indeedee in Team Preview, I'd feel more confident just because Spec Shadow Ball, being able to one-shot opposing Flutter is really nice. Bundle Chi-Yu, okay. Classic duo. Is it Booster Bundle? Yeah. Booster Bundle does cause some issues for me here, doesn't it? I could see them doubling up onto Annihilape immediately. I personally don't hate double protecting turn 1. To scout out for what they want to do. The only downside of this is if Chi-Yu goes for a nasty plot. But you know, if they do that, we could potentially just go for Encore onto Chi-Yu the next turn. I think that's one of the things I'm positioning for. Yeah, because part of the idea is that like the Screamtail should be faster than Chi-Yu here, and so we could leverage that to our advantage. Like even at -1, we should be faster. They actually went just for Hydro Pump. Yeah, that makes sense. Overheat. Heat Wave, sure. Okay. So I'm thinking about just going for Disable now onto Chi-Yu. And Drain Punch onto it. Prevent you from heat waving, and then I just heal back up. Now, I guess they could Terra here, theoretically, with Chi-Yu into Ghost, so that would be a little bit scary, but it's fine. I guess if their Bundle is Encore, that would be problematic, but we actually dodge a Hydro Pump, which is pretty lucky. That being said, I think Drain Punch would have just healed back all the damage anyway. The main downside for my opponent is they don't get that citrus healing. Perfect. Nice, we just get the one-hit knockout. Beautiful. Man, this Screamtail is so fun when utilized properly. Now, basically, like, if it's scary there because I don't know my opponent's full moveset, right? Because they could have clicked Dark Pulse or Overheat, for example, or Flamethrower should they have any of those. But yeah, like, one good turn with Screamtail can just completely open up the battle for you. I do wonder if I should have considered knocking out Bundle instead, but I wasn't confident on, you know, Drain Punch getting the KO, especially without any boosts. And I, you know, definitely wouldn't have expected Hydro to KO, but it would have done a lot for sure. So they bring out Flutter. I'm Fire Terra, so if you Hydro Pump me, that actually gets a little bit scary. But what I can do is Protect here, and then disable Bundle's Hydro Pump. And then Fire Terra Annihilate the next turn and Rage Fist. Or Drain Punch. Maybe they Protect Bundle here. But if you Protect Bundle, you risk Annihilate just going for Terra and then attacking your Flutter. So no Terra from their end yet. Nice. Yeah, so inability to Hydro now is really nice because now I can just Terra Annihilate. And then I can also just disable Flutter this next turn. I mean, they're probably Shadow Balling, right? Oh, but they Shadow Ball into Annihilate. Oh my goodness. It does not get any better than that. Yeah, so now I can go for... I don't even need to Terra, honestly. I mean, I can disable this. It could Moonblast me, though, so maybe I Terra just in case. Terra, Bulk Up, disable you. They could Icy Wind, I suppose, and Shadow Ball still. But I think now that you can't Hydro Pump me, I'm not that scared. I guess the combination of Icy Wind plus Shadow Ball is still pretty scary across the board. So maybe it would have been better to just attack this turn. But they actually end up going for Freeze Dry. Okay, that works for me. Yep. So Screamtail's just disabling everything right now. Yeah, and... I wonder if that's Specs Flutter, right? Because if you're Specs Flutter, then there's really not much they could have done there. I think their best play was Icy Wind plus Shadow Ball if you had it. Yeah. I'm down to just Rage Fist. Oh, yeah, you still can't click Hydro Pump anytime soon. So I'm down to just Rage Fist into this slot. Actually, I'd rather knock out Bundle, Drain Punch, and Dazzling. Good Protect, though. Okay, we'll see if Flutter actually has an attack. I mean, you would think so if they're staying in. So, Moonblast here makes sense. Curious about the item on it. Probably Sash then if they're Gleaming. Oh, Life Orb. That makes sense. Okay. But with Shadow Ball being disabled, there's not much they can do. So I'm just going to Drain Punch here. And I don't mind protecting in this position. Because I don't want Screamtail to eat up an Icy Wind speed drop. I think that last turn I probably shouldn't have assumed that the Flutter was spexed. But I don't know. I was expecting a switch. Plus, it's like the Gleam coming out really doesn't make that much of a difference anyway. We barely took any damage with it. So, yeah, I think it was fine. And if, like, Bundle gets aggressive and attacks there and we knock it out, I think we just kind of win off that, right? So, yeah. I do think one of the interesting things about the Screamtail is when do you commit to both Disable and Encore back-to-back turns versus when you mix up your moves. But we'll go for Protect. They Freeze Dry into us. And, like, this is what Disable does, right? It's just like my opponent, what's their best play here? Would be to double up onto my Annihilate with Freeze Dry plus Dazzling Gleam, but you can't use your strongest attacks into Annihilate, so you're just stacking up Rage Fist right now, which I'll gladly take. Like, Flutter's taking essentially as much as it is from its Life Orb as I am from Dazzling. And I just get to heal back from Drain Punch. And that just knocks it out. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, so disable, Encore, Flutter, plus Annihilape can be a nasty combination when utilized properly. I think it's even stronger in open team sheet because you get to see what, you know, choice users your opponent has. NDD is the last one. Okay, that makes sense. Here's the interesting thing about NDD. So one more turn of disabled, but basically I can just disable NDD here. I mean, we still have 4 Pokemon. Like, the odds of them winning, I think, are pretty slim at this point. But I can, like, Rage Fist and disable here. And the idea is if they go for Follow Me, okay, yeah, you redirect the Rage Fist away, and I don't do any damage. But then I just disable your Follow Me immediately. And then so the next turn you can't Follow Me. And then the NDD slot is completely useless. Here's Terra coming out, okay? Fairy, Terra, Flutter makes sense. Oh. Well, it was a Fairy Terra, but it was not on the Pokemon I expected. Okay. It was on NDD. Helping Hand. Well, I guess I disabled Helping Hand now. But there's no way you're KO Annihilape, and Annihilape Rage Fist should just KO the Flutter here. Yeah, they didn't KO. That was a crit on Annihilape as well. But basically, like, the play I was covering for is, hey, if NDD Follow Me's here, I just get to disable you immediately, right? I guess if they had Fairy Terra on Flutter... No, I mean, I still would have won because Annihilape was just targeting the Flutter slot. And in this endgame, like, NDD just doesn't provide that much value for my opponent other than Follow Me. But it's like, yeah, you just don't have enough offense. So, Rage Fist, Encore. And Scream Tail is just such a nuisance to play against for so many of these opponents. So, okay, you're Encore. Here's Rage Fist. Nice. I think the main thing is, yeah, if you play perfectly around Scream Tail, you can make Scream Tail look pretty ineffective, but even just one misstep allows me to snowball really quickly, especially with this combination in particular, and that's what we were able to do here. I think the key thing was kind of, yeah, double protecting turn 1 to scout out for what my opponent wanted to do. I think my opponent would have been better off if they had clicked Icy Wind with the bundle at some point, but I think the main reason they didn't want to click Icy Wind is obviously because you activate the Defiant on Annihilape. I didn't mention that earlier, but yes, you know, if you do that and you give me another attack boost, then I can just one-hit KO practically everything immediately. So that's probably the reason why they didn't Icy Wind, but as a result, it was like we were able to outspeed Flutter, we were able to disable so many things. We disabled, what, Chiyu in this one? Actually, we disabled all 4 of my opponent's Pokemon, which is kind of wild to think about. So yeah, that is the power of Scream Tail Disable. Okay, we've got Annihilape, Mousehold, Abomasnow, Bundle, Vivian, and the Ting-Lu. I featured, I think it was a super similar team to this recently, but it had Qianpao instead of the Mousehold. Otherwise, everything else is the same. So if you want to see me play with a similar team, check out the video down in the description below. The idea is that this team has a bunch of things that are rising in the meta. Vivian is really nice with Ting-Lu because of Friend Guard and your ability to heal up Ting-Lu with Pollen Puff. And then Bundle plus the Abomasnow just dishes out a ton of damage as well. Grass Terra Disable Scream Tail is really good into the Ting-Lu plus the Vivian combo. I'm a little bit worried in this matchup though if they go with Mouse plus Annihilape, because they could just go for beat up into Rage Fist. That concerns me. I actually don't think there's one lead that beats everything easily here. Like, basically, I think if they're going to go Mousehold plus Annihilape, I'd want to go with Bundle plus Flutter. Because what I can do is just go, like, Fairy Terra Flutter, and then just Moonblast. And then Freeze Dry, for example, onto either slot. Or even Hydro Pump. But if they go with Vivian and Ting-Lu, that's really bad for me. Whereas my lead here is pretty good into Vivian Ting-Lu. Okay, that's what they went with. Nice, nice. So, basically, my idea here is turn 1, I can double protect. Yeah, turn 1 I can double protect, and then turn 2 I can go Grass Terra, ignore Rage Powder from Vivian, and then just, so double protect here. Ignore Rage Powder from Vivian, and then just Encore Ting Lu while bulk upping with Annihilate. Or not Encore, disable Ting Lu. Maybe it's not Choice Band Ting Lu, though. I'm just operating on the assumption it is right now, because that's the most common item when this is paired with Vivian. But if it's not banded, things get pretty interesting. And, like, I'm assuming, like, when I had used a similar version of this team, the Vivian had Pollen Puff, Safeguard, Rage Powder, Protect, but maybe there are different moves on the Vivian here, right? So, let's see. But double Protect here is always relatively safe. They're going for a Terra. I would think this would be a Ground Terra on Ting Lu, just to maximize your damage output. Yep. Okay, yeah, this is fine. I think this into Grass Terra, Disable, and Bulk Up turn 2 is really safe. Vivian actually just helps you protect, okay. That's good to know. Cool. Yeah, and they just Earthquake. Nice, I'll take that. What do we get out of our turn 1? Reveals 1 move on both Pokemon, reveals the Terra on the Ting Lu. What are their special attackers on this team? Abomasnow Bundle? Okay. So yeah, I'm going to go Grass Terra. I'm going to go Disable into Ting Lu. And then I'm going to go for Bulk Up here. We're staying in with both. That's good to see. In an ideal world, they try to just Rage Powder here. And click Earthquake again. Then we'll disable the Earthquake and we'll get a free Bulk Up off. And then Ting Lu, should it be Choice Band, is going to be in a really bad spot next turn. Vivian here could have an attack into Annihilape. But beautiful. There's the Rage Powder. Nice. And this is the idea of Grass Tearing. By doing that, it allows us to redirect, ignore a Rage Powder. So now you don't get to get your Earthquake. And I get a free Bulk Up. Beautiful. Alright, turns 1 and 2 have played out pretty much exactly how I've wanted it to so far. The question is where we go from here. And what does my opponent have in the back? I think it's pretty easy to just Encore the Vivian now. I'm tempted to go for another Bulk Up. It's pretty free. Yeah, I'm down for that. Ting Lu switches. The one thing here is I was really thinking about just Rage Fisting or Drain Punching that slot, but I was worried about a potential switch into the their Annihilape. Because if their Annihilape comes out, then I guess I would have just had to Rage Fist there, right? But I haven't eaten up any Rage Fist stacks yet. Okay. Get another Bulk Up off. I think the main thing to worry about now is the, like, just Blizzard spam from Abomasnow. And then Bundle coming out. So, like, here I'm down to Protect Screamtail. I'm actually thinking about clicking Drain Punch. I mean, Vivian, you would think, just goes for the Rage Powder again. I don't know what item the Abomasnow has here. Theoretically, Abomasnow could Protect as you switch in Bundle as well. I guess that's my concern. So I actually don't hate going for Protect here. Okay, I'm just going to Protect Rage Fist into Vivian. Nice, and they stay in. That's good. So they're probably just going for Rage Powder plus Blizzard here, you would think. Yep. Ideally, we bring Vivian down to Sash. I don't know how well it takes +2 Rage Fist, given that it's only base 50 still. Okay, good. That's huge. You go for Aurora Veil, but that's fine. Like, you've already committed your Terra at this point. So I can Dazzling Gleam now. Oh, wait, no. I can Encore you instead. Maybe they switch. Do I need an Encore? Like, because I could just go Dazzling Gleam plus Drain Punch right now. My fear is if it's like Weakness Policy Abomasnow. Still got Bundle and Flutter in the back. I mean, I haven't taken damage yet, so obviously we have a huge lead. I just want to make sure I execute this properly. I'm down to just Gleam and Drain Punch here. I've used Encore a bunch. I feel like Abomasnow should respect it. But they don't. Okay. So let's see if +2 Drain Punch KOs with Snow and Aurora Veil being up. I guess the other question is maybe like the Dazzling Gleam wouldn't have KO'd without that crit. I'm actually not 100% sure. The Abomasnow does hang on. Okay. Just go for Blizzard. Screamtail does get frozen. Yeah, I'd say that turn was interesting just because like the Encore onto Abomasnow I would say was really safe. I honestly just didn't know how much I would be doing in terms of damage there, but they can bring up Bundle now. Freeze is a little bit scary, but it's fine. Booster energy here. Speed. 2 turns of Snow, 3 turns of Aurora Veil. I've got my Flutter just waiting in the back. So I'm willing to sacrifice Screamtail at this point. It's really done enough. And I'll protect the Annihilape. I have to respect late game Ting Lu though, right? Because like that Ting Lu will have a Choice Band Earthquake just staring me down. But I think having Specs Flutter in the back should be really good for me, right? We know it's not Specs Bundle either, so your damage output is not as scary. Okay, Abomasnow protects, that's fine. You would guess them to just Blizzard here, right? Yeah, so Blizzard Aurora Veil, protect Abomasnow makes sense. KO Screamtail, but that's fine. I think one of the main debates right now is considering who to Terra. I don't think Ghost Terra on Bundle does anything for me. I think we just bring out Flutter here. Basically, I can either Terra Flutter here for more damage from Dazzling Gleam, or I could Terra Annihilape to take less damage from Blizzard from Bundle. The thing is, if I Terra Annihilape, I suddenly become weak to Hydro Pump and Earthquake later on in this battle. Oh, I've already Terra'd. I'm sorry. I was talking about that the whole time, but yeah, we've Terra'd already. We literally Terra'd Screamtail in the beginning of the game. It's always funny to forget that. Yeah, I'm just happy to Dazzling Gleam and Drain Punch here. I think I'm mainly just worried about freezes right now. Like, a Bundle freeze onto either could be pretty scary. But I think if you don't freeze Screamtail here, or sorry, Flutter here. Oh, interesting. Abomasnow actually pivots out. Okay. Maybe then, yeah, they're doing this to reset the Snow. That would make sense. Bundle just Blizzards. Okay, we don't take that much. Oi, 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 oi. Okay. I get double frozen. It's not great. Do I thaw out? Oh my gosh. How much does Drain Punch do here? Not a KO. Oh man, that is a really frustrating freeze. Yeah, Snow Stop. So it's like if that freeze didn't happen, we KO Bundle, you bring out Abomasnow, but then we should have a pretty sizable lead. The thing though is that Annihilape is still pretty difficult for my opponent to break through, right? Yeah, at being at +2. I think I have to give up Flutter right now, though, so I'm gonna just protect Annihilape and Gleam. I think Annihilape can honestly 1v3 this, so it's still okay, I think. Mainly because Annihilape should win 1v1 against Ting Lu now that I'm already at +2 attack and defense. I'm just laughing about how it's like, oh, I can Terra! Who do I Terra? When I literally Terra'd in the beginning of the game. The other interesting thing is by my opponent clicking this, it's like now you have to Earthquake yourself, right? Alternatively, you could switch back out. You could switch the Ting Lu back out into Abomasnow. But, yeah, I mean, one of the strengths of Snow is just the freeze odds, right? I had 2 Pokemon frozen throughout the course of this game, but even with that, I feel like my matchup is pretty solid. The main thing I'm thinking about was letting Abomasnow get that free Blizzard off, but I'm not sure that honestly was a huge difference maker. It is likely a Bomb Snow. It's cool to see. I think here, my opponent could theoretically get a knockout onto Bundle immediate. But do I care? Like, I'm thinking just protect here with Bundle. They could switch Bundle out into a Bomb Snow. That's probably their best play. I don't know. I'm down to protect Drain Punch here. Team Lu switches. That's fine. They're going to click Blizzard then, right? I don't know. I think as long as we don't get frozen, Annihilape wins this game. But so far, the two Pokemon that fainted have both been frozen. So, it's a big ask. Oh, okay, nice. With that, then, I think we should win unless their Team Lu is Fisher, which would be pretty rare to see on a Choice Band set, especially on the Vivillon teams. Because with that now, I obviously just have super effective damage from Bundle into Team Lu. I outspeed with both of my Pokemon. You should be really well positioned. Team Lu comes back out. No need to risk any misses. It's just freeze dry. I think, like, the debate here is, do I want to predict a Bomb Snow to protect? Play around a crit from Ting Lu? If they don't protect, though, this also works. Yeah, they do go for the protect. Like, I don't know. They're going to need so much luck to win this. I'm willing to just play it safe. Freeze Dry in itself should do an okay amount to Ting Lu. Yeah, it's not bad. Have you ever seen so many freezes in one game? Wow, I honestly want them to thaw out just to see if they would get the crit onto Annihilape. They do stay frozen. What a interesting game. Just freeze dry again. Drain Punch into you. Realistically, Ting Lu was not going to win this, right? Unless he got a critical hit onto the Annihilape. And even with the crit, I'm not sure you get the knockout. Plus, Bundle has the defense boost thanks to their Snow. And I just don't think you can knock out both Pokemon quickly enough. So, even with both freezes coming out earlier in the game, I felt pretty good just because I thought I'd set Annihilape up for success. And that's what this team does such a good job of doing. But, yeah, all these freezes were pretty silly. I would have preferred to have won this endgame without the freeze just to show that we were in a good enough position where we didn't need it. Yeah, like, the only thing... It's like, basically the only things that could stop me from winning are an Abomasnow freeze or a Ting Lu critical hit, and the odds of a critical hit are just slimmer than a freeze, right? So I'll play around the crit more, or sorry, I'll play around the freeze more than the crit. If the crit happens, so be it. Yeah, the other question is whether or not a crit would even manage to get the knockout onto Annihilape. Because if you don't get the one-hit KO, then we should still win from that position, and Annihilape's a pretty bulky Pokemon, so I actually wouldn't expect a crit to even get the knockout. So, yeah. But I think this game was just showing how good Vivillon can be in shutting down, like, especially, Screamtail can be in shutting down Vivillon Ting Lu. Like I said, the lead was kind of a gamble by me here, because I think if they went with Maushold Annihilape, it would have been a substantially more difficult game, but fortunately, they opted not to go with that. And with Vivillon and Ting Lu, like, a lot of these sets run the same moves currently, and so I kind of took a gamble that it was Choice Band Ting Lu, and fortunately, it ended up paying off really, really well for us. And yeah, just got a bunch of these free boosts on Annihilape, and it was really difficult to knock out afterwards. Whoa, Braviary, Palafin, Golden Ghost, Stonejourner, Hands, and Chimpao. That's a sick team. Haven't really been able to show Chew very much love. Chew's decent into Golden Ghost, meant everything else. I've actually struggled a good amount against Water Terra Golden Go while using this team. Like, being immune to Spore, Encore, makes it a little challenging. I have no idea what to expect from Braviary. I did use a team with it a few weeks back, but it's not a common Pokemon at all. Well, I'm down to get wrecked by something like this. It's really cool. I mean, Stonejourner, Braviary, and then Hands outside of Trick Room also really cool. Normally when I see Hands, I'm inclined to lead Flutter. I might go Flutter plus Bundle because of Ghost Terra. Screamtail. Do I really not bring Chiyu or Amoonguss? Chiyu's pretty good into Golden Go, so I'm going to bring it for that reason. Like, I could potentially pivot out if they lead it. Maybe I should have led Chiyu Bundle, because most Golden Goes are Water Tera, so if I lead Chiyu Bundle and you Water Tera, I can hit you for super effective with Freeze Dry. I just don't really know what to expect. My opponent has a lot of wild cards here, right? Like, a lot of things I don't have experience fighting against. Champao and Palafin. Flutter's not in a great spot, but I could obviously just Icy Wind plus Dazzling Gleam, but they could Jet Punch, Sucker Punch Flutter. I'm not gonna lie, if I were my opponent, I would actually aggressively target Flutter. Like, I could just go for Icy Wind, Dazzling Gleam, but if they Jet Punch, Sucker Punch, it's pretty bad. So I'm thinking switch out into Screamtail here and Freeze Dry. Alright, please Jet Punch and Sucker Punch. Ideally, they go Water Tera Palafin and they try to Jet Punch my Screamtail. It's weird that the lead looks so good, but I don't know. The prevalence of priority plus the defense drop makes it pretty scary. Okay, so we get our speed boost. They didn't Tera. So maybe... Oh, they didn't Sucker Punch either. Wow, that almost just KO'd. Okay, it could have been worse, I guess. Life Orb. Oh, wow. Icy Wind Gleam would have worked there, though. Like, I thought they needed to Tera in order to try to actually get the knockout onto us, but okay. I'm down to Protect. Icy Wind. Maybe the Protect is too obvious. Alpha switches. It's Golden Goal, okay. I mean, that's why I brought Chiyu in the back. But Golden Goal is very good into Screamtail. Wow, nicely played. Great targeting. Okay, at least I've slowed both of you down, so Chiyu is now looking pretty good. I would like to disable your Sucker Punch and Protect with Bundle. Okay, good switch. Probably Palafin coming back out. What is that? Stony J. Alright, if Nasty Plot comes out here, I'm in a ton of trouble. Alright, just make it rain. That could be worse. It's just a shame we came so close to knocking out Palafin. The fact that they'll have 1 HP Palafin is honestly really bad news for me. Like, both of these Pokemon are so strong to go out into, but, like, a single Rock Slide from Stonejourner is pretty rough, right? I think I'm gonna go into Chiyu here. They could have Wide Guards with Stonejourner. Stonejourner could Protect here as this switches out. You could Protect Water Tera this. Make it rain. I frankly really want to double up on a Stonejourner here. I'm going to go for it. They didn't Protect either, Mon. I didn't Heat Wave there out of respect for Wide Guard, but it would have won the game. But that's like the advantage of... Okay, they're faster. Oh, that's also not good, right? Yeah, that really isn't good. Because I think Champao plus Palafin just beat the Flutter Mane that I have in the back. I think what's really throwing me off in this game is... There's like a couple of things, right? Like the Life Orb on the Champao. There was a great Sucker Punch onto Bundle earlier. Like, my opponent really recognizes how to distribute the damage. Screamtail's just not as effective in this match because it's hard to actually get the Encore Disable, especially with the amount of priority my opponent has. Alright, they bring out Palafin. Wait, maybe this is still winnable. Let's think. So I could just go... You're faster than me. You can Jet Punch this. I think I can take a -2, make it rain. I'm thinking Terra. Heat Wave. Shadow Ball. Okay. That's fine. Unless Water Terra Jet Punch just KOs my Chi-Yu anyway. With the defense drop, it definitely does. So what did I need to do there? Protect Dazzling Gleam? I mean, maybe the Palafin protects. Oh, man, this was so close. Yeah, it's Terraing. If it actually, regardless of who it Jet Punches, they win. No, unless they Jet Punched Flutter, Heat Wave gets a double KO, and then it's just 1v1 against Golden Go. Then we could win too. Right, who did Jet Punch go into? Okay. Oh, but I Ghost Terra. Wait, now they can just Shadow Ball me. I had no out there, actually, though, right? Their play always wins the game, given that they're faster. So I needed to not Terra. Yeah, actually, like, not Terraing was just the correct play there, because, like... Is there a world in which Chi-Yu was going to survive that Jet Punch? I mean, like, maybe they don't Terra their Palafin, but, like, what are the odds of that? Man, what made this harder was Golden Go outspeeding Chi-Yu. It's a really big interaction there. Because we were faster, we obviously just win, but now they can just come out and Shadow Ball me. There's no way I'm surviving that. I wonder if they had Power Gem, you know? Because I feel like... maybe I survived Shadow Ball? I don't know. Well, I'm just going to Dark Pulse. Yeah, honestly, if I didn't Terra, maybe I could have won this. Yeah, they get the KO. So, this game shows that I was not able to really use Screamtail effectively, right? And what was the reason for that? They had a lot of priority. I didn't lead with Screamtail. I think Screamtail, what's interesting is if I Grass Terra, I become weak to Chien-Pao's Ice Spinner as well. And turn 1 in itself was frustrating, because if I had just gone for Icy Wind plus Dazzling Gleam, like, I'm actually shocked they didn't cover for that. And I was predicting, yeah, like the Sucker Punch plus... Water Terra potential Palafin. But if I just had gone for Icy Wind Dazzling, we would have just KO'd Chien-Pao, got a lot of damage onto the Palafin as well. I think I would have been fairly well positioned afterwards, because then the bundle wouldn't have taken any damage either. But yeah, I think it was a really fast-paced, aggressive game, and in the end, I brought Screamtail into this matchup. I don't know if it was the right one to bring. I'm not sure, like, because then you have to ask yourself, okay, does Annihilape or Amoonguss really offer that much more? Amoonguss, honestly, I don't think so. I don't love it into a Chien-Pao plus a Golden Go matchup. I think Annihilape, though, probably is better over Screamtail in this one. Because, like, just the pressure of Drain Punch is pretty nice. It can make a rain and then retaliate back with the Rage Fist as well. So if I were to replay this, I'd actually probably consider dropping Screamtail. It's kind of hard to utilize well, and it's just very weak into Golden Go in particular, right? Golden Go can't really do anything against it, and it's one of the best Pokemon you can have into Screamtail. So that's kind of the lesson that I learned from this loss, but yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. So thank you so much, as always, for joining me. Thank you to Navjeet for building and sharing this team. And hopefully you now have seen the potential power that Screamtail can offer in competitive VGC. It feels fitting that, you know, the one game that we lost was the one where Screamtail just couldn't really do very much. And in the end, you know, my opponent did have Golden Go. I think that in itself is a sign to not bring Screamtail. I was interested to see whether or not I could do very much with it. And obviously the answer was no. And so, yeah, really fun to play these games. And thanks so much, as always, for watching. Leave a like if you enjoy, and I'll see you all next time. All right. Peace.